Hey guys, in this video, I want to share with you the things I drink now instead of alcohol. Let's get into it. All right, guys, I quit drinking 541 days ago. If you don't know my story, I am a 5-time CrossFit Games champion. I've been to the CrossFit Games 6 times and almost that entire time. And for 20 years, 30 years, even before that, I drank almost every day, whether it was a couple of beers to 3, 4, 5 beers every day prior to CrossFit. And then once I started CrossFit, I started paying attention to my health a little bit more and, started becoming a bit more health conscious and switched over to drinking wine when I was in my early 40s and would have a glass of wine or two a night. And through COVID and during those times, it just increased a bit. I quit drinking for like 6 weeks at one point, but over the past 5 years or so, 4 or 5 years, it was like 2 glasses up to 4 glasses of wine every single night. Even wine on the nights that I was competing. And I would be nervous, afraid if I didn't drink that night, I wouldn't be able to fall asleep. And that is just kind of my story. I was never, raging drunk. It's just kind of not my thing, but it was kind of a habit. 5 o'clock every night, 6 o'clock, I would pour myself a glass of wine. And one glass of wine was never satisfactory. It always made me more thirsty. And so for me, when I quit something, I tend to need to have some sort of behavior replacement. And when I quit drinking January 1st, 2024, I wasn't happy about it. That was a security blanket that I've been holding on to for a long time. I was actually really frustrated. I did not want to stop. I just kind of knew I needed to. I knew that it wasn't good for me. I knew that I was slowly killing myself, and I didn't want that. So I quit drinking, and I have replaced that behavior with drinking other things.
When you're training hard, you need more than water. That's why I use LMNT. Zero sugar, no junk, just the electrolytes your body actually needs to stay sharp, strong, and hydrated. Lemonade salt is my go-to this summer. Salty, tart, and super refreshing. And when you order through my link, you'll get a free sample pack with 4 fan favorite flavors. Just go to drinklmnt.com/Jason Grubb. That's drinklmnt.com/Jason Grubb. Try it risk-free and stay salty.
Okay, let's talk about the drinks that I drink now. Standard, I drink LMNT Sparkling. This is so good. This is like a treat for me. It's better than a glass of wine, by far, better than a beer, and it's delicious. It's got electrolytes in it, potassium, magnesium, and sodium. I talk a lot about LMNT on this channel. I very much like it. This is just like a delicacy for me. So LMNT Sparkling, great treat, especially if I need to rehydrate after a sauna session in the afternoon or a training session, or I just haven't had enough electrolytes in my life, or I just feel like having one. So I'll do that. This is kind of a 6 o'clock drink. Love it. Not everything I drink is going to be amazingly healthy. So let's talk about something that's not necessarily unhealthy, but not super healthy. And it's Coke Zero. Zero caffeine. Never going to drink this amount of caffeine after 6 p.m. at night. But every once in a while, a Coke Zero is like sweet nectar from heaven. The argument is, of course, that this is just full of chemicals. And it is. It's a chemical concoction that tastes delicious. But this is still better than a glass of wine. 1,000% better than a glass of wine. It's still better than a can of sugar. So when we're talking about like what's good for us versus what's not good for us, there are compromises, and this is one of those that is very, very delicious. So, I have these in my fridge. Every once in a while, I will have a Coke Zero. Again, better than wine. Now let's go for a healthy option. This is one of my favorite drinks, and I drink this almost every night. I've got my favorite glass right here, and I have sparkling water. This isn't a glass container. This is from Sodastream. So I put filtered water into this glass container, and the Sodastream adds carbonation to it. So this goes into this glass. The reason I like this glass so much is that it holds an entire Sodastream. I mean, pretty much. Then I take a cherry bundy. So a cherry bundy, this is tart cherry juice. So if you look this up, tart cherry juice is incredibly good for recovery. Very low calorie. This has got 100 calories in this packet. Pure tart cherry juice. Great for sleep, great for recovery. And this is a really nice little travel pack that I have here. This goes into sparkling water, and I'm already smiling because this is so good. It's huge, but it is good. This rivals an LMNT Sparkling. Not only that, we're going to take a little bit of lime juice. Yes, I could cut limes. I could squeeze a lime. This is just so easy. This is organic lime juice, okay? Squeeze that in there. Doesn't matter how much, just a good amount. And we have just an amazing, huge glass, sparkling water, tart cherry juice, and lime. Oh man, it's so good. Okay, if I'm grilling burgers, I'm outside, or if I'm hanging out with people, let's say maybe I'm golfing or I'm hanging out at the beach or something fun, something kind of festive, and it's the place where I would love to have a cold beer. Absolutely love that. But I don't drink, and I'm not going to drink beer. I will have Athletic Brew. This is my favorite. I just call this the blue can of Athletic Brew. It's Run Wild IPA. I liked IPAs a lot when I was drinking. So the Athletic Brew, this is a non-alcoholic beer. For those that are just absolute astringent, I do believe that this has 0.5% or less than 0.5% alcohol. So you would have to drink a case of this to feel anything, I believe. I'm not a purist. I'm not stressed about that. This is a great replacement for a beer. And if I'm going out to dinner with my wife and we're going to a place that has burgers or something, if they have an Athletic Brew, it's so great to be out eating dinner, drinking a beer out of a can or out of a glass. It just feels good. It feels great without feeling drunk, without feeling hungover. In fact, I went golfing a few weeks ago in Colorado with my son, and I had like 3 of these on the golf course, and I didn't feel anything. I didn't need to go home and take a nap. That was an amazing feeling. Very, very cool. Another drink that I like. Okay, last drink. And this one is one of my favorites. So instead of that last top-off drink before bed to sort of calm things down, I have tea before bed. I'm almost embarrassed to share that I have tea before bed, but I do. And my wife turned me onto this. This is sweet and spicy, original. There's no caffeine in this. It doesn't even taste like tea. It tastes like cinnamon sweetness. I don't know. It is the best tea. It has a sweetness to it, but there's no sugar. It's more like cinnamon. And it is so good before bed. I'll have a cup of this, and it's literally kind of like, as soon as I finish my tea, I am going to sleep. That is kind of the commitment. I pop down in bed. I am going to look at a screen. I don't read. I should read, but I'm going to watch a YouTube video a little bit or something like that. And as soon as my tea is done, that means it's time to go to sleep. So those are the drinks that I've used to replace drinking alcohol. It's really simple. For me, I needed to replace my behavior with something else. At 5 o'clock, I want to have something in my hand. And just knowing that I'm a behavior-driven, I'm a repetitive kind of habitual person, I just found replacements. So whether it's a Coke Zero, an LMNT, Athletic Brew, my delicious cherry Bundy and sparkling water concoction, or a cup of tea, I'm not drinking wine. And I probably never will again. I heard Lance Armstrong actually say this on a recent podcast, that it was something like, I can't imagine anyone after 5 years, 10 years, 20 years not drinking, looking back and saying, man, I wish I'd been drinking all these years. Probably words that no one will ever say. Now, I have a special bonus here. Really quick, special bonus. Buckle up. Okay, I have my wife, Gina, here. Pulled her in for the end of this video. Here is a cup of tea for you. It's hot and fresh, by the way. She's been with me, obviously, through this journey of years and years of drinking and not saying too much about it, knowing that I am a stubborn dude. This is the kind of the way I am. But since I've been sober, you were actually the one that confronted me on it on January 1st, 2024. I didn't love that at the moment, but I'm glad that you did. What has this been like for you?
I mean, honestly, it's hard to say. I haven't thought about it much. It's almost like the absence of the negative is just nice, So I think that's the majority of how I felt about it is I haven't thought a lot about it.
So me not drinking has been about, you haven't noticed. It's just been sort of the absence of a negative. So in contrast, what was that negative like?
Oh, yeah. I think there was a feeling of just like a weird priority in your life and just a franticness that I think we all probably felt, that maybe it wasn't overt, but it was just kind of simmering there of like, alcohol matters a lot.
And if it's 6 o'clock, I'm having a drink.
Right.
Period.
And, it's hard to not weirdly feel like alcohol is the most important. And I think that's what I told you. I think I said something to the effect of like, alcohol matters a lot.
And look, when someone catches you in your own mess, and she called that out, it stung
but it stung because it was the truth. And I knew something needed to change for me. And so I don't even like that feeling that I had, how frustrated I was with myself for allowing that to become who I was over like 20 years. Like it was slow.
Yeah, because I mean, when we first met, you only drank O'Doul's.
I only drank O'Doul's, which was a non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah. And so, because I think you knew these tendencies in your personality and you were worried about yourself. And so then to see something that you had guarded yourself against for a long time creep into this big thing. And it wasn't disastrous. You weren't an angry drunk. You didn't embarrass yourself or embarrass me or do anything that made me really uncomfortable. It's just, it was becoming really important.
Every day.
And
every day.
I was just scared about where that could lead for you and for us and for our kids and all of that.
Well, hey, I mean, for me, I know it was leading to a slow death. You know, it is a trickle of poison into my system. So I'm sure that my liver wasn't happy. I'm sure my blood work wasn't happy. Whatever the insides that don't like alcohol were not happy. And, you know, even as an athlete, it was like trying to swim against the stream. You know, I'm pouring alcohol into my system and then trying to swim against it. So, yeah.
I think back to your first question. I think it has been, I mean, there's been just a few adjustments that I think have been harder for you than for me. I've never been a big consumer of alcohol anyway, like
an addict.
Or an addict, really. I don't have that kind of personality. But like, it was not hard for me to be like, okay, we just don't drink. And that's cool. And I think for you, going out and changing our habits around and going out to dinner and having a drink and feeling whatever you were feeling around all of that with some adjusting. But I think we're okay now. I think, it doesn't matter. Lots of places have non-alcoholic beer, and
we don't need a non-alcoholic beer to go out to, but it is nice. It is very nice. And I tend to prefer restaurants that have something like that or a good sparkling water. Like San Pellegrino would be great. And it's just often when you go to a restaurant and you're like, yeah, do you have San Pellegrino or do you have, and they're like, yeah, we have
soda
water. I'm like, ew, like, is that out of a tap? Like, no, thanks. Because we're sophisticated around here.
I'll drink it. He won't.
I want to have something fancy. I just won't drink anything at dinner if that's the case. So maybe some final thoughts.
Even though you maybe haven't noticed a big outward change, like you feel amazing now, I think knowing that you have made that change has been really good for us. And it's been good for me. I feel safer knowing that you're in a healthier headspace and a healthier just physical space too. That means a lot to me.
She wants to keep me around for a while.
I do.
All right, guys, thanks for watching another video. If you have thoughts, comments, questions, if you've got some suggestions for drink alternatives or you have questions around this, I'm more than happy to answer. And if you have questions for a spouse or anything like that, I'm happy to have Gina answer questions in comments as well. So as always, guys, your best days are ahead of you. Fortune favors the bold. See you next week.